as games, qualified in the Turku lab. Veli-Matti Karhulahti, University of Turku, Finland.
So, hello, I'm Matti from Finland, and I will be talking about something like this. Any of you know what that is? Someone? A whale, definitely. Thank you so much. Now, the funny thing is, it hasn't been a whale all of its life. It's been a whale only since 1778, when this guy Carl Linnaeus actually realized that, you know, the babies of these things, they come up in a bit different fashion than the babies of these things, for instance. And it took a couple of more decades before the governments were ready to accept the whale as a whale, because they could only tax fish and not whale. And you know, these things sometimes take time. But okay, I'm, to be honest, not a biologist or botanist or anything like that. I'm something you might want to call a ludologist. I study these kinds of things, different playful phenomena, and games in particular. And what has radicalized my field within the last couple of decades are these artifacts. These artifacts that we call, I guess, video games in common, right? Now, what I think we have here is a bit of a whalefish situation, in the sense that I don't believe these things are games. They're not games. So how did I get there? 5 years back, when I started my research, I initiated a taxonomy of all ludic species. A bit of the same kind of project that Linnaeus had. But in order to do that, I had to start mapping out the genetic or differentiating components of which these different ludic species are constructed of, and we can identify them with them. So, of course, ultimately I got interested with the question that what is the structure of a game in particular? And to go over the basic games are amusing activities thing, I went deep into the etymology of the term, which actually offers us two pretty obvious components. The first one comes from the German word Gumpen, which implies jumping and other athletic activities. The second one comes from the Gothic word Gamen, which implies partner, fellowship, different kinds of social activities. Now, what do you think? How much social activities, athletic activities in these video games? Not very much. Not all, but most video games in the historical context of gaming are not games at all. Now, the obvious question here, of course, is that what's the benefit here? Where do we need this taxonomy? What's the use of knowing that whale is a whale and not a fish? Or that video games are not games but multiple ludic artifacts? I'll give you an example. Video games provoke aggressive behavior in their players. That's something we quite often hear, which is actually not a very useful argument. What might be a useful argument is that specific ludic artifacts and their specific components provoke aggressive behavior in their players, but to make that argument, you need my taxonomy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next one, please.